Welcome back to another episode of Hitting the Fields offseason. My name is Andrwe Montana, and today we're going to be talking about some of the best football action we've seen in the last few days. Now, the Euro Cup just wrapped up in Germany. The Copa America just wrapped up a few hours south of us in Miami, and we'll be talking about everything we saw. But that also includes that little pregame show that we saw outside of Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. We'll be talking about all that for soccer, and then we're going to move on to ring talk. Now, if you don't know the little saying about rings, here's how it goes. One ring, you're married. Two rings, you're infinite. Three rings, halfway to J-Lo. Four rings, you're Audi. But five rings, you've got trumpets playing, flags waving, and we're going to Paris. That's right. We're going to be talking about Team USA's basketball team, what we've seen so far, what we can expect. And we've got a little game lined up for you guys. So it's going to be a lot of fun, both soccer and basketball, two of my favorite sports, and really excited to get to it. Don't go anywhere because this episode of Hitting the Fields offseason starts right now. Welcome back to Hitting the Fields offseason. With me today, we have Tyler Brownrigg, Edgar Rodriguez. Tyler, I'll start with you. How are you doing? How do you feel about, I guess, your Spanish team winning the Euro Cup?
I feel amazing. My mom literally crashed out the other day. She was screaming. She was on the phone with my grandmother. It's so surreal to have a team of mine win something. I don't really get to experience this ever as a Vikings fan.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because your women's Spanish team just won recently.
So that also, yeah, like the Spanish national teams is like all I ever have. So
must be
great.
nice.
You're covered with soccer. You're covered.
Team USA. Yeah. Edgar, how about yourself? How do you feel about the Euros and how they wrapped up?
Yeah, I mean, look, the game went pretty much as expected. Spain dominated possession. England just, you know, stayed in it barely. But Spain completely, I would say, dominated in the end. And yeah, England's style got found out by Spain, which, I mean, we're the best side of the tournament and deserve to win it.
For sure. So in case you guys missed out on the game itself, the Spanish team won 2-1 against the English team. And I personally, as a Colombo, am so happy to see Harry Kane in pain, especially after, I think it was 2018 or 2022. I don't remember. That was kind of vague. But England beat us, I want to say 2018, 18, yeah.
It was 2018.
Yeah. That was my first year in high school, or maybe second, whatever. But yeah, England beat us, and Yerry Mina was like one of our 6'5" bench players, came in with an absolute screamer from like midfield. That's one of those moments just etched in my brain, but we still lost. Anyway, we're going to be looking at how England actually made it to this point. Edgar, I'll let you run point on this one so Tyler can take care of his red and gold later on.
Sure.
What's so special about England's path to the finals?
Well, I think the big thing was that England relied on big moments to get here. Going back to the group stage, so lackluster. I mean, 1-0 versus Serbia, scraped through. 1-1 versus Denmark, they couldn't get past. And, they had loads of chances, still couldn't convert. 0-0 versus Slovenia. So, heading into the knockout stage, you say, okay, they have 5 points, they won their group, fine. But I mean, nothing to be impressed about. And then when we move into the knockout stage, it was big moments, like I said, that really saved them. Against Slovakia was that crazy bicycle kick from Bellingham in the 95th minute to force extra time. Kane scored early. They saw it out. Against Switzerland, it was Saka in the 80th minute to draw level. Because once again, Switzerland jumped in front, and it was almost like England always needed that spark. It was like, go a goal down, then we can start playing. I mean, it just wasn't really that sustainable. But for this tournament, they made it to the final. And then in the semis, Netherlands once again go up ahead early on. Controversial penalty for Kane. And then again, Watkins in the 91st minute. They are into the final somehow, some way. England found themselves in the final against Spain. And then we all know what happened as Tyler's Spain, took care of business.
Yeah, as you mentioned in the actual tournament for England, a 1-1 W against Switzerland in pens, so that was kind of a nail biter, and then just a 1-point win over the Netherlands, 2-1, and then on the other side of that 2-1 in the finals, unfortunately, but I guess fortunately for Tyler. So Tyler, if you want to talk about the Spanish team, go right on ahead. What was so special? And I think there's now a 17-year-old who's taking the spotlight.
Yeah, Spain. Listen, this is by far the greatest Euros run ever.
You are locked in right now. Oh my
through,
God.
Spain had to go through a gauntlet. They are the first team ever to win the Euros and go undefeated in the tournament, winning all of their matches. They went 7-0. It's their 4th Euro win ever, the most all time. And here are some of the teams they beat. They beat Croatia. Though Croatia was they didn't win a game. They had 2 draws and a loss. They beat Italy in their group, and then Albania was the 3rd member of their group. So they win all their group matches. And then in tournament play, they beat Germany. They beat France. They come back against France. They were down 1-0, and then they come back 2-1.
That was a crazy game.
Finish it. And France was stacked. And then they beat the tournament favorites in England in the final in heart-stopping fashion. The final match was insane because I feel like a lot of people will think, like, when they think back and remember this, they'll remember the Oyarzabal ball goal in the 86th minute to where Spain takes the lead. But what I will forever remember is Dani Olmo's save. All right.
Oh my God, yeah.
I was gonna bring that up.
England they were gonna level it. Like, they had a shot on goal, and then the keeper saved it. It was a pretty easy save, but it was a perfect rebound. And it's and watching that, I was like, oh no, here we go again. They just choke at the final moment, and Dani Olmo, a forward, mind you, comes out of nowhere and saves it. His forehead saves what was a surefire goal, and then they get it out and clear it. Oh my God, I was in disbelief in that moment. It was a Herculean effort and saved the entire game. The
text you were sending me once again, comes down to that.
I was truly just stunned. But then 17-year-old. I'm gonna try and not butcher his name.
Yamin Yamal. At first, when I heard his last name,
Yamal, yeah, I believe that is right. Yamin Yamal. 17
when I first heard his last name, I thought they said your mom.
Yeah, 17 years old. He was great in this tournament. He scored. He scored, I believe, in the semifinal against France, I want to say. Yeah, and that was when he was 16 because he turned 17 the day before the final. And he's the youngest goal scorer ever in the history of the Euros. He was blessed by Messi as a young baby, a little toddler. Messi held him in his arms.
As a 1-year-old.
Watch your ankles, my guy.
He was touched by football Jesus. But let me tell you, it's great because Spain is such a young team. And I think going into the World Cup, they have great odds in 2026 because so many of their key players are 26 or under.
Yeah, they're 18,
Williams.
bro.
Nico Williams is 22. Ferran Torres is 24. I don't think Yamal is going to be 21 by the time the tournament rolls around. He'll still be 19. Mm-hmm. So they're great, but it's just, oh my goodness. But yeah, seeing a 16-year-old be on the national stage and now be a world-renowned star. Meanwhile, I'm 21 in college is what am I doing with my life?
Well,
you didn't have to do that to us,
right? And before the tournament, all the jokes were oh, Yamal's still in school. He still has to take tests and do homework.
He has classes.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like you said against France, it wasn't just an ordinary goal too. It was
a screamer.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
I caught it live just as I was leaving the house, and oh my gosh, it was crazy. But to go back to the final, Dani Olmo's goal line clearance, like you said, Tyler, it's one of those moments where it was a sure goal. Unai Simon was out of position, the Spain goalkeeper, and Olmo, out of all people, it wasn't even Laporte or Lenormand at the back. No, it was Dani Olmo, who had an incredible tournament to keep it at 1-1, and in the end, just as important as the Oyarzabal goal to make it 2-1. Crazy tournament.
Yeah. I wish I locked into the final a little bit more. Luckily, I tuned in for the latter half, but for the first half, I was shopping at Walmart. And so I was kind of in and out of seeing the goal and reaching for eggs.
The first half was kind of the first half of the game was because they go to halftime 0-0, but you could tell something had to give.
Something after
halftime.
Started blowing up a little bit.
It was still Spain, the Spain of, you saw a bit of the Spain of old because they just kind of pass around for a bit. Like I remember the days of Spain having over 1,000 passes in matches and losing. All right.
Right.
I had to go through that in my youth, my childhood, but now they actually just score and it's great.
Also, interestingly enough, in the tournament run, Spain only won 2-1. Like that was it. They were straight up 2-1. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, looking more into the actual finals match, if we're gonna, I guess, just compare the two teams, we just to break down the stats. Spain had 6 shots on goal to England's 4. Spain possessed the ball 65% of the match to England's 35, which is crazy. I mean, props to England for like almost getting a second goal in and at the last second with only 35% possession. England had 3 yellow cards to Spain's 1. No red cards were dealt, thank goodness. And then 2 saves by Spain. I'm assuming one of them is that little like saving grace at the end. And then 4 for England. And you guys can see at the bottom of the graphic who scored and when they scored. But yeah, Harry Kane, he's someone who I guess I want to preface a little bit because I've grown up a Harry Kane hater. And then I guess also like growing up in the LeBron era for basketball, I have to tie LeBron in somehow. I never really liked the Spurs as a kid. So seeing the Tottenham Spurs, I'm like, absolutely not. And then Harry Kane's the head of the Spurs. Like, no, I hate him. To see him choke the way he did, my goodness, so happy to see it. I know Tyler and I were happy for different reasons, but I mean,
it will never come home. I just want to throw it's never going to come home ever. England will never win anything, and I don't know why because they're always stacked.
They're
but
good.
It's just
like
the way
it's a
it
good
is.
roster, man. But
maybe it is Harry Kane's fault. He's
I
cursed.
think it is.
Cook.
It's not a coincidence anymore. Kane, like you said, Andrew, from Tottenham, they don't win trophies, bro. They don't win trophies. He carried that on to Bayern. The first time in forever that Bayern to win a trophy is Kane's
first time in over a decade.
Right,
Dang.
exactly. They won the last 11 league titles. Kane appears, they don't win it. It's not a coincidence anymore. And as an Arsenal fan, I share the same Kane hatred. Yes, a great striker, but I had enough, like honestly, enough of him scoring against us. But yeah, it's crazy. At some point, it's just like, all right, this guy's actually retire without a team trophy. And it's kind of unthinkable, given his talent, given his goal scoring prowess.
He is really good, but like,
I mean,
gotta hate.
I will say this: they took Kane out of the game.
Yeah, he wasn't doing anything.
I think they should have taken him out earlier because when it was Palmer and I'm forgetting the guy who came in for Kane. I want to say it was like Williams something. But when they were in, like that's when England scored finally, and they were getting a lot more chances. And I was really scared at that point. Kane's obviously great inside the box, but like he's old, he's losing a step with age. And he couldn't really go keep up with the pace of the Spanish defenders. But like when the younger guys came in, Cole Palmer and them, that's when and they scored. That's when I was like, oh God, England might pull off the comeback here.
Yeah, it was. So I think it was Palmer who came on for Kane.
Ollie Watkins. Okay. I just looked it up. Ollie Watkins.
Yeah. Watkins. Yeah, that's who he was. Watkins. He was running all over the place, and he was a big reason what created that chance for Palmer.
So yeah, Cole Palmer came on 9 minutes later.
I was getting really worried when those guys were on. Now I wasn't worried as much with Kane. He wasn't really doing anything.
And he had a yellow card too. So I mean, you don't want to risk getting another one and then having to play 10v11. But yeah, I'm personally happy to see England crash and burn. But speaking of crash and burn, we'll be right back after this commercial to talk about the Copa America. Yeah, we'll be right back.
Jack, buddy, why are you here? I don't really understand why I'm here. I got called a delusional fan. I just don't understand why I'm delusional if I think Kirk Cousins had the best mustache in the league.
Well, Jack, buddy, I don't want to be the one to tell you this, but I don't think anybody looks cool in handlebars.
But they're back, man. They're back.
They're not. They're not. Sometimes you just got to face the hard truth. It's right there in front of you. All these people, they're calling you delusional, but sometimes you got to worry about, am I projecting? Is it me? And in this
Let me tell you something, bud. It could never be me. Anything I say is factual and truth, and that's why the Vikings are going 16-1 this year.
Organization, you have to look at your roster and say, I've had Kirk O'Thuggins for 6 years. Maybe it's time to move on.
There is no moving on from Kirk Thuggins and Justin Jefferson.
Do you think that maybe this all started just because of a little disappointment?
Nothing has started. This is how I...
And welcome back. Here we are talking Copa America, and my goodness, is there a lot to unpack? With me, Edgar Rodriguez once again, Daniel Valdez. Daniel, how do you feel about the Copa America, the game itself? Like, were you rooting for one team in particular, or what's the landscape look like?
Personally, I was cheering for Argentina to win, mostly because I am doing like a little program here in Miami with the Argentina team, so I was kind of cheering for them internally, but I really didn't have much stakes in the game. I did feel it was a little bit more kind of surprising. It was only one goal, but hey, it was a great atmosphere at least for the game.
Yeah, I personally didn't have any stakes in it either.
Not at all. Not at all.
I don't know. Nothing that I know. But before we get into the actual finals match, I want to quickly go over the bronze medal game between Canada and Uruguay. This one went to pens, which is kind of crazy because I did not expect that to happen at all. So in the semifinals, Argentina beat Canada 2-1, if I'm not mistaken, or did it go to pens? I actually don't remember.
No, Argentina won. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't go to pens. Okay.
No.
And then Colombia beat Uruguay 1-0. And they added 7 minutes just to, I don't know, screw with us mentally. But yeah, Canada 2-2, lost 3-4 in penalties to Uruguay as Luis Suarez kind of wrapped that little penalty shootout at the end. Canada 6 shots on goal to Uruguay's 5. Canada had 51% possession of the game to Uruguay's 49. 4 yellow cards for the Maple Leafs to Uruguay's 3. No red cards and 3 saves apiece. With actually, I did want to talk to you, Edgar, about this real quick. Alphonso Davies, the Canadian star, missing his key penalty. I believe it was 3-3. And it was Canada's turn to kick, something like that. But Canada had already missed a penalty. But what does that mean for Davies, I guess, going forward?
Of course, for Canada, he's the star boy, right? He's the star boy along with Jonathan David, with Kyle Larin, who's been there for a little longer. But he is the guy Canada rely on. He didn't actually start this one. He came in a little later on. But of course, he has the biggest platform of any Canadian player. He plays for Bayern. He's ripping it up in the Bundesliga over there. And so, lots of weight on his shoulders when he comes over to Canada. But yeah, that miss, similar to like we were talking about how
We were almost identical. Yeah.
Yeah, with that kind of like Panenka chip type thing not working out. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure Canadian fans will quickly forget and continue to support him because they know he's probably the most talented player on their team right now.
For sure. Yeah, he got a little bit too much air under that kick. You could see what he was going for. Same thing as Messi, like you said, against Canada.
Yeah.
But yeah, I personally didn't even think Canada would make it this far. So just to get 4th place in the Copa America, I mean, that's huge in and of itself. But anyway, moving on to the actual finals matchup, Colombia taking on Argentina. Argentina being the pre-tournament favorites at plus 170 odds, if I remember, with Colombia being plus 1,300, I guess underdogs at this point. But man, oh man, Daniel, if you want to talk a little bit about the Argentines, go right on ahead, and then I'm going to swing for Colombia right after that.
Yeah, that Argentina, they were at the beginning, it was all Colombia. Argentina was playing much more defensively, and of course, kind of makes sense with entirely of Messi being injured before going to the game, and then eventually even having a much greater injury later on in the game. It was kind of a bit like they were playing defensively in the first half, just trying to figure out how they could beat this Colombia team, but eventually Argentina did score the one and only goal, so props for them at least.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about real quick how Argentina actually got to this point in the tournament? Because obviously, like, it takes a lot to make it to the finals of, especially of a Copa America. So just kind of break down what that all looked like for us.
Yeah, that of course the reigning World Cup champion. They came in here as favorites to win the Copa America. They did win their group. They did eventually win through the games. I believe in the first round, They played against
Ecuador, if I'm not mistaken.
Ecuador, yeah.
Ecuador. That went
Yeah,
to
they played
pens.
against that they had to go through teams like Ecuador and then Canada and then finally making it here to Colombia. That they did dominate the group. They went 8 wins, 0 ties, 0 draws. They were five goals, 5+5 point differentials. They were performing as well as you could, being the reigning World Cup champions, per se.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then moving on to Colombia, its path to the finals. Man, their group stage was something else. I was watching it actually from Colombia, so this is probably the first time in my life where I could say I've been in Colombia and James Rodriguez been in my country. So I mean, I don't know, that was kind of cool to see. But yeah, throughout the group stage, 6 goals for, 2 goals against, +4 obviously, and goal differential, 7 points, which was actually the least among group winners. And yes, we won the group, of course. But yeah, the only game we didn't win was against Brazil, which I believe was a 1-1 just draw, because in the group stage you can draw. But yeah, outside of the group stage, man, we just went swinging. Very first game out into the tournament, lights out, 5-0, 5-0. That was crazy. And then the semifinals, we beat Uruguay 1-0, as I mentioned before. Just like, I don't know, they just stretched the game out so much. It was crazy. But man, this finals run. Before I get into the actual finals match, huge props to James Rodriguez, our star. The resurgence from what we saw in 2014 in the World Cup, man, what a sight to see. It was like I was, well, let me do the math now, 11 years old again. Like that's when I first got into soccer, like first got into soccer. And I played like 2, 3, 4 years after that, thanks to James. I wasn't a striker, so I was like the biggest guy on the field. So I was a goalie, but he got me into it. To see him play the way he did, man, he didn't score much. The only goal he scored, I think, was a penalty. But man, what was it, 5, 6 assists? He led the entire 6 assists. He led the entire Copa in goals and assists. He won the trophy at the end. But man, to see the team's fears when Colombia was fouled, like in a decent free kick spot, and then you just got James lining up. I forget who it was, but at first in like the group stage and the like the beginning portions of like the Panama game, I guess, you had somebody else like kind of lining up with James, and then you just kind of step over the ball. It's like I don't really get it, because like, we all know James is gonna kick it in, but James was just a perfect curve. You got Lerma in the back. Yeti Mina actually didn't get any goals in, which I'm surprised of. A 6'5" guy off the bench. He could have been a great recipient of one of those James free kicks, but man, he was just laying it perfectly for his teammates every time. And to see it all go to waste like this, dude, oh my goodness. So we can get into the actual nitty gritty of the game if you guys want. But yeah, Edgar, if you want to talk about that real quick, because I'm sure you tuned in for the game that started at like freaking 11.
I was locked in, Andrew, as you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, just a quick word on James. It was like rewinding time 10 years ago
It
to the
was
World
so
Cup.
good, man. Yeah.
It was kind of like Ronaldo with Portugal. You know he's gonna take that free kick, just everyone else leave, right? And that Brazil game too, he could have had like a hat trick of free kicks. He was just swinging them in, shooting from just it didn't matter from where.
Mhm.
And unfortunately got unlucky to not grab more goals. But yeah, player of the tournament, well deserved. But yeah, the final, I mean, like Daniel said earlier, Colombia were all over Argentina that first half.
Yeah, man.
And for most of the game too, Argentina were
Mhm.
were pinned back. Of course, closer to the end of the game, Argentina got that offside goal. I'm sure you breathed
Yes.
a sigh of relief.
Holy cow, yes.
It
That was
was so
crazy.
close. And at that point, it's like, damn, okay, Colombia, all this hard work. Okay, they got saved offside 0-0. So into extra time, and again, it was just so back and forth. Really, anyone could have won it, but then the Argentina goal came from a lapse of concentration at the back. Colombia left a huge
Mhm.
hole after a defender stepped in, and Lautaro Martinez finding the finishing touch. And it's incredible because Colombia went on this incredible 28-match unbeaten run.
Mhm.
And the last time they lost, it was to Argentina. It was 1-0, and Martinez scored the goal. So the unbeaten run ends and finished, and well, started and ended with
The same
kind of
way.
the same game.
Yeah.
I didn't
Exactly.
even know that. So that just kind of
That was cool.
like made it
That was
harder.
cool.
It's like a full circle moment. But like Colombia were one of those teams heading into it. You knew they were going to be dangerous. They were one of my dark horses for the tournament, and they proved their worth. And now for the World Cup, they haven't made it to the last one. I'm expecting to see another strong performance from Colombia in just a couple years' time.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely heartbreaking match. Um, I forget what moment exactly it was, but I think James did have a free kick that kind of like went near, but it wasn't, anything crazy like that.
Right.
But yeah, I was going into the game thinking like at this point with the way James is playing, with the way like Luis Diaz has been playing, Richard Rios, he's taking care of the midfield real well. The defensemen have been like clamping up. We hadn't gotten a goal scored on us in the entire tournament itself.
Yeah.
I was thinking Argentina had to play around us because Messi's only scored one goal. He'd only been accountable for one goal in the entire tournament. And I mean, outside of that, the squad's pretty good for Argentina, obviously. But like you foul us in that area, like it's kind of wraps.
Right.
And we had so many opportunities. Props to the Argentinian goalie. I do forget his name, but he's an absolute icon at this point.
I mean
Yeah, he was
Martinez.
great.
Yeah. There's so many Martinez's, bro. I'm so sorry, but like he was reading every corner kick, every free kick. He caught like two in a row in the second half. That just kind of like felt like little needles stabbed into your chest, kind of thing. But man, it was just he was reading it perfectly. He did phenomenally. I mean, I guess perfectly, like given the score. But yeah, it was tough to see. But something that I think is even more tough to see is the pregame show. If you guys remember,
Oh yeah.
Man.
this probably made more headlines than the game itself, especially if you're an American. But what had happened essentially is that when they first started opening the gates, fans started flooding in. Much of those fans were wearing yellow, which is Colombia's like staple color. I'm wearing blue because it's just the yellow one's still in the laundry. But yeah, a lot of fans, particularly Colombian fans, were breaking in and not scanning the tickets, not going past security, not doing like just the regular checkup stuff that you would do when you go into an event, especially of that caliber. Edgar, if you want to talk a little bit about it while I pull up some notes and some little articles that I have, go
I
right on
will.
ahead.
It was startling. You usually don't see this for like you said an event of this caliber. It's the Copa America final
Mhm.
at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, the biggest stage, right? And to see that was yeah, it was pretty worrisome, especially since the US is going to be one of the host countries for the 2026 World Cup, which is right around the corner. I mean, it's gonna appear
Yeah.
right, quicker than we think. But yeah, it doesn't bode well for that. But yeah, those images were just shocking. I mean, you had fans, like you said, without tickets, storming the gates. We saw, arrests being made, families being kind of like
Gosh.
scared in that moment because it's like,
Mhm.
what is going
It's
on?
unsafe. Yeah.
Very unsafe.
You
We
had
saw fans. We saw fans going through the ventilation of the stadium behind.
yes,
I'm sure you saw that
yes,
video.
doing their best
Yeah.
impersonation of Among Us.
Crazy. So look, thankfully the game went ahead as planned, albeit an hour and 15 minutes after it was
Mhm.
supposed to. But yeah, just really, really rare and ultimately worrisome events taking place.
Mhm.
And what's
I do just want to bring this up real quick. And Daniel, I'll ask for your opinion for this. I work at the like at the Kia Center as an usher. So like, I guess handling like stadium crowds and stuff like I've done it before. Here's my opinion, just kind of from like an inside perspective. You have people storming through the gates, through the fences, through security, both like the processes and the people security. And then you've got literally whoever in the bowl, right? Not only is that an issue for like the people who bought the tickets versus who didn't, and then like the people who got in versus who didn't, but these people could be armed. They could have weapons. They could have like drugs. They could have whatever. If someone sneaks in, like again, absolute worst case scenario, but someone sneaks in hiding a weapon of some sort, the most popular player in the world is literally like right there. That's dangerous to him, to everybody in the stands. To
Absolutely.
it's an absolute like it was a mess. But in my opinion, because of the fact that everybody was like pushed through basically, and nobody went through security, they should have postponed the game to another day. That's my opinion. Because the only issue with that is you have to deal with the people who flew in from Texas, from Colombia, from Venezuela, from whatever the case may be. And then, like, they lost their flight, but at least they can still use their ticket that they spent $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 for the game. Before, when Uruguay was playing against Colombia, I looked on Ticketmaster. The finals match was starting at $900. Once the Uruguay Colombia match was decided, and then we knew it was going to be Argentina Colombia, the tickets rose. And I'm talking like the cheapest ones, by the way, the cheapest ones, nosebleeds. The cheapest ticket became $1,200, $1,300, something like that. And then there are videos, TikToks, and stuff going around of this lady who was interviewing people just like that didn't make the cut, that had their Ticketmaster app out. And she's like, ¿Cuánto gastaste en el ticket? How much did you spend on your ticket? These guys are saying like, after fees, $2,000, $3,000. Like I got 4 tickets. We spent $7,000. Like, are you $7,000 down the drain? Plus hotels, hospitality, arrangements, flights, food, clothes, like everything, and all that money just going to waste. I think at this point, if you're CONMEBOL, who ran the show and has gotten a lot of backlash for not just the ticket prices and how everything was handled, but also the pitch quality. Someone blamed CONMEBOL's like the grass itself on his injury, his ankle injury. Yeah, I didn't like really see anything, but people were saying like, yeah, the ball would like speed up and slow down when it was kicked on the grass, stuff like that. I didn't notice that until someone brought it up. But yeah, I think CONMEBOL should have like at least seen this as a security risk to the players, to the fan, like everything like that. Push it to another day, and then at least then you have a lot less legal stuff to deal with, because I don't know if CONMEBOL is going to come back from this one. But yeah, Daniel, what do you think about that? Do you have an alternative kind of solution, or do you think, I guess, what happened was the best course of action? Because I mean, it's to each their own, really.
Yeah, that it's just so crazy about how many people actually broke through, that so many people lost their tickets, lost their money, lost their seats, lost tons. And apparently there's going to be some lawsuits against both Hard Rock Stadium and the organizer Copa America from how disastrous that opening was and all that. But even you have like even reports of the president of the Colombian national team being left out and actually being arrested, as it just earlier today. And it's like so many crazy things happen that it brings up the question of, is Miami ready for the World Cup? Because we're supposed to be one of the host cities of the World Cup.
I have an answer.
And it's like, unless they have a way to have better security and make sure they have a proper way of making sure that those who do not have tickets storming in, they need to make sure to find a way to, number one, fix the stadium, because there's even like images of like the escalators being broken, ventilation being damaged, so many things wrong with the stadium. They need to fix it up for the upcoming fall when it's going to be used again, but also need to do a better planning of security, because arguably the World Cup is even on a bigger stage than Copa America. So
100%.
They need to take a much more precautions on this in case to prevent any of this from happening again.
Yeah. To answer your question, is Miami / the United States able to host the World Cup? My answer is 100% yes. Probably the most ready of any country. And the reason I say so is because if we're going to look at specifically Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, that stadium hosts the Miami Dolphins and the Miami Hurricanes, an NFL team and a college football team, sometimes twice a week. I'm looking at a report that I'll read to you guys in just a second, specifically, but it said that for the Copa America finals, the stadium gates opened at 5 and the parking lot gates opened at 3. So basically from the parking lot's opening at 3 until the beginning of the game, which is 8, you have 5 hours. Obviously, like you got delayed, but you didn't expect that. So you have a 5-hour window between parking lot opens, game starts. For the Miami Dolphins, when I went, keeping in mind, this was like 2012, 2013, something like that. If anybody wants to find the game, Baltimore Ravens beat Miami 35-13. So there you have it. But the game started at 7 and the parking lot opened at 10. So from 10 to 7, that's like 9 hours. You have 9 hours of people tailgating, eating, drinking. You have to deal with all those crowds of people who have been buzzed since breakfast. That's just for football. For college, whatever like drunkenness is going on in the NFL, triple that for college football games. I think this isn't a question of security by the stadium, because at the end of the day, I don't know what kind of like precautions you could take to prevent something like this. No one expects this to happen. Like, I'm not gonna like, if I own the stadium, I'm not gonna put a freaking like iron bar in front of my ventilation system. That's not like what like, you know, you don't expect that. I think this is like, CONMEBOL has gotten a lot of backlash for it, and I think it holds to be true. Something else interesting that I read, Chris Cassell said on Twitter, I don't know who he is, but he just like brought up this idea and people were reacting to it. He said, and I quote, "Personally would rather see every Copa America hashtag US men's national team game in a giant college football stadium, in giant college football stadiums with crowds of 100,000 people or more, like the Michigan, Ohio State, like those kind of stadiums. Make the tickets $20 so that that's all it takes to fill them out. More people can come in. It's a spectacle." At that point, because another issue that CONMEBOL was facing was ticket prices, because Taylor Swift like VIP like 100 seats, like 100 row seats were like $1,700.
Yeah.
A nosebleed in Copa America being $400 less than like the biggest artist in the world, that doesn't make sense. And then World Cup tickets, same thing. They were like $300 like for decent seats. Nosebleeds probably even cheaper than that. It doesn't make sense why they were sold out, or why they were so expensive, and stadiums weren't even being sold out. There were stadiums with like, was it like 20,000 empty seats?
That wasn't a good look.
It wasn't a good look yet, but that was, to be fair, that was like US versus Bolivia. But at the same time, if the host country is going to be playing, you don't want to see empty seats. That's not a good look wherever, like if you're an American, if you're from freaking Sri Lanka, like that's not a good look. So there was that. And then there was also this other article posted by Joey Flechas from Miami Herald, and it reads, "Soccer fans who don't," oh, actually, let me read you the title. "Hard Rock warns fans, if you don't have Copa Finals tickets, don't go to the stadium." Didn't happen. And the article says, it's pretty quick. Soccer fans who don't have tickets to Sunday's Copa America final between Argentina and Colombia are being warned, don't go to the stadium. Even though it is common for fans to congregate outside the venues for soccer matches in other places, the Copa America final will be different. Hard Rock Stadium officials are only allowing those with game tickets to enter the parking lots at the venue in Miami Gardens. There will be no watch parties outside the stadium or in the parking lots. Those with game tickets are encouraged to arrive early, and then the parking lot gates open at 3 and the stadium gates open at 5. So something my mom talked to me about also, she's an architect. She was talking about how if all this happened, there should be the line of security like the regular when you go scan your ticket, whatever, and then one before that to secure the parking lots as well. Turns out there was one. So how exactly does this happen is my question. Because if people are breaking into the parking lot, that's like past the first line of defense. And then the second one, like, you know, you got a bunch of people who already don't have their tickets. And then from there, it's just an escalation. I am curious to see, though, if this all happened because like one person like saw a golden opportunity and just took off, or if this was like a crowd of people and then like after that person, like everyone kind of followed suit, or if everyone was just like on the same page and just kind of went for it. Because man, the things they were showing, I don't know if they showed it on like an American stream, but we were watching on a Colombian stream. Like they don't care. They're showing people getting tackled, getting thrown over walls, getting arrested, getting punched by security. Like it was crazy. But yeah, man, that was an actual like, what a sight to see. Like
it was.
It's really a bad look. But I think when it comes to Miami itself, Hard Rock Stadium itself, Steve Ross, he's not paying for a lawsuit. He's paying for 2 of his contract. Okay, so let's get that clear. But yeah, it's really a bad look, but I think it's kind of a little bit misinterpreted just because of like who ran it. I think when the World Cup comes around and FIFA is the head of everything, FIFA's got it under control. To my knowledge, there hasn't been any issue with like FIFA's tickets or security or like anything like that. I think it'll be locks. Yeah, it'll be locks. They're not going to play around. If even one person tries to break through, they'll like arrest him, expose him, like boom, this is your guy, set an example out of it kind of thing. Like it's not going to be the same thing. But yeah, any final thoughts before we wrap up this all too long segment?
So I mean, yeah, those, like we said, hopefully the World Cup we won't see a repeat. I'm sure we won't. But like you said, you know, those the securing of the parking lot, the securing of the stadium, all of that has to be pristine. Like there cannot be anything going wrong with that, you know? But clearly there was a breach and it escalated from there. But yeah, thankfully we got to see a great game, right? We got to see the halftime performance by
No, we
Shakira. I'm
didn't.
sure we
No, we
all
didn't. It wasn't a great game.
we all enjoyed it. We all enjoyed it, Andrew. But yeah, just a quick side note. I said Argentina would win the Copa America before, so I'll pat myself on the back for that one.
There you go.
But yeah, looking forward to the World Cup now. No more summer tournaments, which is kind of sad, but
I
there
mean,
you go.
Summer League.
True, NBA, true.
Yeah, I heard Bronny's playing.
Are they playing soccer in the Olympics this year?
What was that?
Are they playing soccer in the Olympics this?
Yeah, they always do. Brazil
cool.
won it last time.
All right, then we are not fully done with soccer yet.
Yeah, we're also, and speaking of the Olympics, actually, Daniel, great transition. We'll be right back because we'll be talking about the 2024 Paris Olympics, specifically Team USA basketball, because there is kind of a lot to unwrap, but we're not going to wrap all of it. We'll save some of that for later, maybe even next week. We've got a nice little game also set up for you guys, so don't go anywhere because we'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
Hello, my name is Ty Patton, and I am a licensed sports therapist. And today I'm here to help 3 people cope with their misfortunate teams. Maddie, when was the last time the Bears won anything?
I don't think I've ever experienced that feeling.
Maddie, the MVP is not a real award.
But it was voted on.
By kids, Maddie.
Yeah, it was a real award. And I think that's one thing that we can, we made history with that moment. We don't have to talk about Trubisky or the draft because I really don't like to think about that. It really just makes me, I'm sorry.
Now, Maddie, is Mitch Trubisky still with the team?
No. I'm not sure he's in the NFL.
Yeah.
I know Mahomes is, and he was drafted ahead of him. Actually, Mitch Trubisky, it was a bad one. And now we have Justin Fields, who I had belief in. And the worst thing about sports, it's the hope it gives you.
Maddie, at times like this, sometimes we as fans like to hold on to what was.
Yeah,
But
my dad
sometimes
still
you-
talks
you-
about the
you-
85 Bears like it was yesterday. I texted him yesterday. I was like, how about this Bears game? And he was just like, this is so sad. I
You know,
watched with
but-
my neighbor's lifelong Bears fan. I watched with them. It was just...
And welcome back. Here we are talking Team USA basketball as we head into the Paris 2024 Olympics. So excited to see it. Tyler's back, talking a different sport. We don't care. Ben Huber, first time on off season. I didn't even know that. How do you feel?
It feels good to be back, man. I'm excited to do this off-season episode. It's different. It's new.
Exactly. Yeah. One of our favorite student athletes, Ben Huber.
Okay.
There you go.
Combine legend.
Combine legend.
You know,
Um,
you know.
But yes, we'll be talking about Team USA's basketball squad as it heads to Paris. Right now, I don't know if they're still in Abu Dhabi after playing Australia yesterday. But real quick, Ben, I want to ask you something real quick. What are your thoughts on Kawhi Leonard being being pulled out of the roster and being replaced by Derek White? Obviously, there's a couple other little factors contributing to who replaced Kawhi, but I mean, just give me your overall thoughts on that.
I mean, I think Kawhi should just man up and he should just be on the team. I don't hate the decision to replace him with Derek White in particular. I think there's some more guys that are a little bit more deserving than him, but I don't hate it. I personally think give the young guy a chance. Throw Cooper Flag in there. He balled out in the tryout. But I don't absolutely hate it, but I think Kawhi should just play on the team. I think he's kind of done sort of things like this his whole career, just showing that he doesn't really care as much.
Yeah, I mean, out of everybody who received their jerseys and those few videos and pictures that they took when they passed the jerseys around to all the respective players, he seemed the least excited, but he always seems the least excited. So
Right.
I mean, not much to.
He got a free trip to Vegas, man. I wouldn't be that butthurt, if I was him. But he is coming off a knee injury, right, from the playoffs still that he got.
Yeah, I mean that's.
So I feel like it was always up in the air whether or not Kawhi was going to be able to play for Team USA.
But apparently the Clippers are the ones that pulled him out, not him. So
Interesting.
I feel like that's just a way of like saving Kawhi, like
Yeah, it's
saving
bail
his
out.
image a bit.
But like save
I
him for
feel
what?
like
Because he's
he-
gonna get hurt in the playoffs anyway. So it's like
Yeah, right.
you just delaying
Well,
the
he doesn't have-
inevitable.
And now he doesn't even have Paul George, so like it's just what it is now.
Yeah, he's got James Harden, right? Yeah, he's got James Harden. He's a Pookie of mine. So Tyler, I'm gonna pitch this question over to you. Was Anthony Edwards right about being the first option?
Absolutely, he's absolutely the first option.
The first
In the game
option.
In the game against Canada, he was the leading scorer. He is.
By like 2.
I don't care. And then he opened against Australia, I think like 3 for 3 from
He
beyond the
airballed
arc or something like that. He did airball one eventually. But
So
like
did Bronny though.
everyone airballs. It's basketball, all right? Ant is the future face of the NBA. He is the face of American basketball. This Olympics
Not right
is
now.
his moment. It's his team. LeBron washed. Kevin Durant got smoked in the playoffs by Ant. Steph Curry, whatever. Someone's got to pass to him. This is Ant's team now, man. It's his team. He is the guy. No one else. And that's what he said before when they first all got together. Like, yes, I'm still the first option. That's what he was in FIBA when they won like the bronze medal with the B team. It is his team. It is his time now.
Interesting. Okay. I personally don't know if he is the first option, but like I love the way he bullied his way to the starting lineup. Like Steve Kerr had to do it eventually, I guess. But
Bro, what does Devin Booker do?
He is a spot up shooter. Oh, better than it. Playmake. On their respective teams, on their respective NBA teams, Devin Booker is an objectively better playmaker. He was like top 8 in assists, maybe even better. But
he
real
was
quick,
forced to be a playmaker.
I know, but he's still a playmaker. So, like, would you rather learn under Chris Paul or like Mike Conley? Like, not to discredit Mike Conley, I love him. He's amazing.
I don't know,
but,
dude.
like,
Who got swept in the playoffs by whom?
Mike Conley has 1 All-Star. And it was like an absolute reserve. Why are we talking about Mike Conley about Team USA? Okay, I'm gonna go do something real quick. In the meantime, you guys debate. Will Embiid improve, or is his like disaster class that was the Canadian game kind of foreshadowing? Because against Australia, he wasn't much better. I tuned in. The first thing I see is him at a free throw line missing and screaming. So like, y'all do that.
No, I think Embiid, he's gonna adjust just fine. I think the only thing is he just kind of has to adapt to the different way of playing. I've seen the videos. He tries to bait the fouls. He tries to get to the free throw line, and stuff like that isn't gonna work as good as it does in the NBA. The refs are more forgiving. So honestly, he just has to kind of adapt to the different style of play. But
yeah, and Embiid is still one of the best players in the world. All right, he's a former MVP in the NBA. He's one of the best scorers we've ever seen in modern times. He's still amazing. Will he get as many fouls in the Olympics and international play with the different rule set? Probably not. But like, there's always, I feel like, one player, 2 on Team USA, and this is, I believe, his first Olympics with just in general. So it's like there's a learning curve to adjust to the new rule set, and like he'll figure it out. He'll be fine. There's nothing to worry about with Embiid. And even if he like maybe is like just not himself, dips a bit in his production, who cares? This is Team USA. You got 4 other Hall of Famers at least to pick up the slack. So like, it's not that big a deal.
Does he deserve to start?
I would say yeah.
I think so too.
I think he has to start. You start him and AD together.
Yeah.
You can't really start Bam with the talent you have on this roster. He's just not
He's the perfect depth piece for the bigs.
He's amazing to come in for either guy, especially if especially since both of them are injury prone. So it's like,
I mean, they've been fine in Team USA, and Anthony Davis has been fine like throughout the course of the season. And Embiid's the injury prone at this point. Like, we're gonna. Oh, by the way, quick jersey swap to Lapuki. But yeah, man, I don't know. Embiid, that first game was awful. He did a little better the second game. What you said, Tyler, I don't know what Ben said, but I think he'll be fine. Like when you have this much depth And well, actually, you know what? I don't care about Embiid anymore. Anthony Davis, I think he played phenomenally yesterday. He did really well as well against Canada. He was named the player of the game, I think both times, if I'm not mistaken, at least one of them. But that happens when you put him at the power forward. So Rob Pelinka, get us a center, please. Please.
He's
Bro.
been balling. He's been balling out.
He's been so good. 17, 14, and like 3
14.
blocks. Yeah, man. He was like 40% shooting like halfway through the fourth though. So but I think he got it up a little bit. Maybe 5 for 11. I don't know, putting up Bronny numbers, but that's what you do. Anyway, let's move on to the final point before we get into our little draft. The first game again against Canada, we've got LeBron James receiving a lob from Steph Curry. Y'all's job is to give me an iconic duo of like NBA history that could like out icon that lob. You know, like if we're talking about like a football pass to receiver, like a Tom Brady to Randy Moss, because we never saw that, you know. So you guys
We
come up
did
with
see
your own.
Tom Brady.
I know.
Right?
Definitely saw
That's
that.
the joke, Tyler. So
Okay,
you guys come up with your own little iconic lob moment. I thought about it with my roommates, so I'll do mine first.
Does it have to be a lob?
Yeah, like if you're gonna do like the Dwayne
Okay.
Wade to LeBron kind of thing, or like the Steph Curry to like that, you know. So mine
This is tough.
was like these are difficult because ideally by the way, rivals like a LeBron and Steph, you know, like I'm not talking LeBron to Dwayne Wade, LeBron and Steph, they're rivals. The first rival duo that came to mind to me that could realistically do that, Magic to Bird, and I think Magic would be like,
Yeah.
you know,
That wouldn't
and
be
then,
a dunk though. That'd be a 3-pointer. I'd say
no,
I'd say
like Larry
my,
could dunk it. It
Larry
would
could
be a
dunk.
weak, it would be kind of a weak dunk or a weaker
My
compared to like a
answer-
LeBron, but like it'd be
my answer to it is Isaiah Thomas to Michael Jordan.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I just thought of that. I think I was like,
I was
that.
thinking of Jordan catching the lob, obviously, with my roommates, but we couldn't come up with a passer that was rivaling him because it was like John Stockton,
It'd be
but that
Isaiah
was like
Thomas.
too. Yeah, I didn't even think about Isaiah Thomas. That's perfect. Yeah.
Honestly, I want to see Draymond Green to Steven Adams.
Were they rivals? I don't think Steven Adams is the.
I want to see them
the
fight.
malice
That's
in
what
him
I want.
to-
He,
I don't want to
he,
see him
he
throw a
kicked
lob.
him, so I think that's a rivalry.
I feel like Enes
No.
Kanter
Yeah.
instead of
no,
Steven
it would.
Adams.
It'd be Draymond to Rudy Gobert.
Draymond to Rudy, Draymond to Rudy to Kyle Anderson.
I've seen that. It's not fun.
Yeah, no,
Rudy to everyone
Draymond,
that he gave
Draymond to
COVID
Rudy
to.
would be crazy.
You could pick just Draymond to like any person
Anybody,
who's like
yeah.
assaulted.
Pat
And it's
Bev
like,
to Chris Paul. Chris Paul's received a lot before, so.
Oh, Chris Paul the Boogie. Chris Paul the Boogie.
Oh yeah.
They hated each other.
Does Ant hate anyone at the moment, Tyler?
Ant?
Take
I
it
don't
out.
think
Oh,
Ant
Dylan
really
Brooks,
has any
maybe?
really
Dylan
hates.
Brooks.
Dylan Brooks for
Dylan
walking in front of
Brooks.
his interview.
Yeah, and Devin Booker's.
Oh, Devin Booker and Luca. That could be cool.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Kyrie and just a random Boston fan on the street. Kyrie and Dave Portnoy. Oh my god. Let me stop.
Now we're going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, we are
People
going
like
down a rabbit
gas
hole. My
now.
goodness.
That's what's happening here.
No, we came up with so many just now. Like, we took like 10 minutes and we could have come up with, we were talking like Kobe to Dwight, because like to what extent were they really teammates? Like, anyway, so let's move on to our little game. You guys have the little graphic pulled up, but we're gonna be playing Le Cafe because we're taking this to Paris, ladies and gentlemen. Basically what this is, and I'll show you guys the graphic for the viewers at home. I'm gonna spin a wheel on my phone to determine the order of who's going to be drafting first, second, and third. And then this is a snake draft. So whoever drafts first will draft sixth, and then like, and so on. So like you'll get the point as we go on. So I have the little spinny spin here. So we've got me in blue, Tyler's yellow, Ben is red. And here's the first spin. This will be for the first pick, by the way. Oh, looks like it's going to be Ben. Okay, so Ben's drafting first. There we go.
Hey, wow.
Now this is for the second pick. Whoever lands on picks second, and then whoever doesn't gets third and fourth. It's like that's Tyler. Yeah. Dang. Okay, so Tyler's got the second pick, then I got the third.
This feels like the worst because I can never go because you guys all have both of you guys have back to backs now. So this.
But you get it
sucks.
more frequently. So whatever. So basically, if we're looking at the little graphic, we've got 25 players to choose from. If you guys see like the background squares of each of the respective players, The ones with lighter backgrounds are on the actual Team USA team. The ones with darker backgrounds are Team USA select team. So real quick, I'll go through the list. For $5 and just like excuse the little menu things on the side, just want to make it cute. We've got LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis with no sleeves, which is weird, and Anthony Edwards for $5. Initially, Embiid was $5, but I swapped him with Ant. Tyler, you're welcome. And then for $4, we've got Joel Embiid, Devin Booker, Bam Adebayo, Tyrese Halliburton, Jason Tatum. For $3, Drew Holiday and Derek White. And then now on to the select team, Brandon Miller, Jaime Hawkins Jr., and Jalen Suggs. $2, we've got Trey Murphy, Keegan Murray, Cooper Flag, 17-year-old who hasn't played a lick of college basketball. Sorry, I just need to like zoom in a little bit. Jalen Duren and Amen Thompson and Jalen Duren. And then for $1, we've got Brandon Pods. I'm not going to try and pronounce the last name right now. Brandon Pods, Peyton Pritchard, Jabari Smith Jr., Trace Jackson Davis, and Micah Potter of the Utah Jazz / Salt Lake City Stars, who actually made a corner three and got minutes for Team USA. So, Ben, if you like to go first, I'm going to take note of who picks whom on my phone. And with the first pick of the Le Cafe hitting the field 5x5 Team USA draft, Ben Huber selects.
I'm gonna go with the value pick at 4, Joel Embiid.
Okay.
That is good. That is a great pick. That's what I'm gonna. Ooh. I'm trying to like. I think I'll just take Ant.
You'll take.
I gotta get my guy.
Take Ant.
Do we have a limit for spending? Is it $15?
It's $18. Yeah, you have $18. Oh yeah, so sorry. $18. We're doing a starting 5 and 1/6 man.
Okay.
So it's kind of like even for the snake draft the whole way through. So Anthony Edwards for $5. Okay. I'm gonna go with. I'll just go with Anthony Davis at this point. I'm gonna go with Anthony Davis. He's been great. Probably the most consistent player, and I think when it comes to the big bodies here, he's probably the best. Oh, and I get next pick. Oh, let's go. Let me get Cooper Flag. I'll just get him right now.
I did not think Cooper Flag would go this early. Wow.
He's a value pick at $2. If we got Ben talking about he should be in this in the actual Team USA lineup for $2, I'm taking it. Plus, he cooked Drew Holiday and Anthony Davis. So I've got AD for $5, Cooper Flag for $2, $7 down. Tyler, your pick.
All right, I'm gonna go for star power here, and I'm gonna get Kevin Durant.
Okay, 2 rivals, Ant and KD.
I have 2 elite scorers, so now I just gotta build around them.
Yeah, you spent $10. You've got 8 remaining. Ben, your pick.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with Drew Holiday. Is it Drew Holiday for 3?
Yes, it is. Love that pick. Drew Holiday's a Pookie. Probably gonna get his jersey. So you got Joel Embiid for $4, Drew Holiday for $3. You've got $11 left to spend as you go into your third pick, Mr. Huber.
Okay. Let me go with. I'll take. Give me Devin Booker.
Devin Booker. Okay. Devin Booker for $4. Devin Booker and Tyler, you're up next. You've got $7 left to spend. The Team USA select team is looking real nice, isn't it?
No, I got 10. I got $8, don't I?
Oh, what did I say?
You said 7. Yeah, I got 8.
Okay,
Oh,
sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna go with. Ooh, okay. I need a center, but like realistically, I feel like I'm gonna take Trey Murphy.
Trey
perimeter
Murphy.
defense.
Okay. I actually really like that pick. Trey Murphy for
See, now for me, this is where it gets a little.
Yeah, you got yourself in a little situation. Okay. Who do I have? Anthony Davis, Cooper Flag, $7, 11 left to spend. I mean, I got my 2 bigs. Now I just need guards and a good forward. I think My forward will be, man, the talent pool in like a dollar is just kind of,
It's rough, dude.
it is rough, man. I think I got 11 bucks. If I get him, I have 6, which isn't awful. I think I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna take Steph Curry. I'm gonna take Steph Curry for $5. He's gonna be my point. Oh, and I have the next pick. Okay.
LeBron James might not get drafted,
I know, man.
which is really funny.
Considering. Okay, so I've got Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, Cooper Flag for $12 total. Got 6 left. Let me shoot, because whoever I get now, it just sets me up for the next pick basically, because I can't really pick outside of that. I'm gonna have to go cheap here. Let me get. You know what? Let me get Jabari Smith Jr. I'll put faith in a young guy. Him and LeBron became little buddies at one time when he's like, "Hey, you played against my dad." And for $1, I mean, I guess I'll go with it. I'll trust him as a big 3 or come off the bench. So who's next? Tyler's next.
All right. I think I have to get Jalen Duren here.
Jalen Duren. If I didn't have my 2 bigs, I would have gone for him 100%.
He will be my 5, which is
He's an amazing 5.
He's a great 5, a bit undersized, but
Probably one of the better value picks on the board, if I'm being honest. So now Ben, you've got Joel Embiid, Drew Holiday, Devin Booker, pretty much your 1, 2, and your 5. You've got the next pick. Well, the next 2 picks.
All right, so how much I got left?
You spent 4 plus
$7.
3 plus 4, $11. You have $7 left.
Okay. Did someone pick Keegan Murray already?
No,
Keegan Murray should be available.
Oh, I'll take him.
Keegan Murray. There you go.
I have my guys that I want, so now I just wait.
Hey,
7, 5.
Keegan Murray for $2. Okay, so you've got 2 picks remaining because remember we're doing a 6-man as well.
Yeah.
But like this pick's yours.
So I need another forward and a 6-man.
Yes.
So I got how much?
I think $6.
$6. Yeah. Or no, I got 5 because that's 2.
Was it 5? Okay. 7 plus 6, 13. Yeah, $5. You're right.
So I'll take Jalen Green as my 6-man.
Oh, Amen Thompson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Amen Thompson. Okay. Was that $2? Yeah, $2. Yeah, it's a really small picture of him. I'm sorry. I didn't have a big sample size. So Tyler, you've got your pick, and you said you already got him locked in your head.
All right, I have $4 left, right?
5 plus 5, 10 plus 4, $4 remaining. Yes.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. Oh, all right. I thought one of them would be gone. I think.
And
I think I'm gonna get.
You need to
I'm
get.
gonna go with Derek White. I'm gonna go with Derek White.
Where's he
That's
at?
gonna be
Okay,
my guy.
$3. Okay. I was gonna say because remember you have like this pick and then one more. So Derek White, $3. So your last pick's gonna be a $1.
Yes.
Straight from Dollar General. Okay. Now I believe I have the pick, and I think these are my last 2 picks. So I've got Anthony Davis, Steph Curry for $10 total, and then 3. So I have $5 left to spend. Should I just say LeBron and no 6-man? Okay. Let's see. I have a 1, a 3, 4, 5. So I need a shooting guard and preferably another small forward. So Jabari has an option. Let's see. Keegan Murray would be good. Yeah. Good here. I could do 1 or 4 or 3 and 2.
So many decisions, truly.
So many decisions. Shoot, and everyone's taking on the $2 row.
Oh yes. They are all taken. So you have
Yeah,
to take.
so I have to do a $1 and a $4 pick.
This is
Dang.
brutal.
Okay. Interesting.
We
Trace
don't have
Jackson
to.
Davis. Trace Jackson Davis, man. I don't know. I'll.
Just take Tatum. Do it, you coward.
I'm not taking Tatum. I'm not taking Tatum.
Burn all your principles.
Excuse you. By the way, I already forgot how much. Yeah, I have $5 left to spend, so I'm not taking Tatum in a $1.
Well, you can't take a. So you're gonna save $1 then? That's just not
I have
optimal.
I have 2 picks left.
Exactly, but
I have
there's
my
no
fifth guy and a
$2
6-man.
option.
So I have $5 to spend. 2 guys. So I'm gonna spend $4 on someone I hate, and then $1 on some random. No, no.
It's just well, you don't have to spend it on Tatum. You get Bam.
Well, you said spend it on Tatum. I'm not spending it on Tatum. I don't mind spending it on Bam, but I don't need
Tatum
more
makes
bigs.
so much sense though.
He does make sense for my team.
He's like,
Shoot.
yeah. Tatum
Oh,
addresses
I'm
all
gonna
of your needs. Tatum addresses your biggest need, and then you can just get like
I'm gonna throw up.
some guy.
Oh my god. Okay, hold on. So I
Or
have
you can
Steph
just-
Curry.
Or you can get Halliburton, be a vibes guy.
No,
Yeah.
no, Halliburton would be my point guard, and I already have Steph. Dude, someone already
Who's
took
your-
Devin Booker. Yeah.
Who's your 2 guard?
I don't have
right
one.
now?
I don't have a 2 guard like at all. So Tatum would be like an undersized 2, or if I put him at 3 and then get like
You could
pods.
get Halliburton, have him play point, and Steph play the 2.
But then I'd have Steph guarding like Ant and Derek White. I don't really want that
That is tough. But
for your
hey,
team. Shoot.
just draft Tatum, dude.
Yeah, man. Derek White, Drew Holiday off the board. You know what? Oh, frick. Dang it. I wouldn't mind getting Jalen Suggs right now, but then I don't have a $2 to counterpart. I'm just gonna take Tatum. Oh my god.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at how far they've fallen.
Oh man. I want to redraft. Okay, so I've got Anthony Davis, Steph Curry,
And then pick up your last
Jabari. Yeah,
scrub.
so it's gotta be a $1. I'm not taking Peyton Pritchard. I like the guy, but like I'm not getting 2 Celtics. I mean Pods. See, is the guy. Yeah. Pods. There we go for $1. So I've got my team. Tyler, select your 6-man, please. Let's get this over with.
I feel like Peyton Pritchard makes sense.
Yeah, you love him, huh?
The best special teams player in NBA history.
Mm-hmm.
We will be making half-court buzzer beaters.
You will. That's a free 3 to 6 points right there.
That's a free 3 points and a giant momentum swing at halftime.
Oh my god,
That's
yeah.
huge.
But it'll be different if he's not wearing green. You know.
We'll give him green socks, you know.
Okay, buddy. What happens when he plays Australia? And last but not least, Ben, your final pick, your 6-man. Who was that going to be?
I think I already got a 6-man, right?
Oh, so you have, I mean, your last guy, it doesn't have to be 6-man, but you've got Drew Holiday, Devin Booker, Keegan Murray, Amen Thompson, Joel Embiid.
I'll take Brandon Miller.
Brandon Miller, love that pick.
It was a great pick. It was very good.
Brandon Miller, and he was $3, yeah. All right, so here are our lineups. I'm gonna read off Ben's first. Who did you want off your bench, by the way? Amen Thompson?
Amen Thompson, yeah.
All right, so I'm assuming Drew Holiday at your point guard.
Yep.
Locks. Devin Booker at your shooting guard. Brandon Miller at your small forward. Keegan Murray, power forward, which he plays like usually. And Joel Embiid at your 5. Amen Thompson off the bench.
Yep.
Like it. Tyler's roster, you've got Derek White at the 1. Anthony Edwards at the 2. Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is kind of nasty.
Yeah. Let's see. Trey Murphy. Yeah, Trey Murphy at the 3. Your small forward. Kevin Durant at the power forward. And Jalen Duren at the 5. Your center, with Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench.
I'm so cooking with this, dude.
Your starting 5 is nasty, but Peyton Pritchard, man,
Yeah,
he's
Peyton
kind of
Pritchard
silly.
on the
It's
bench.
a little silly.
We are the Phoenix Suns. Don't look at our bench, man.
No, that team is actually Derek White and Ant, bro. Ooh, scary. And then my team, I got Steph Curry at the 1. I don't know who I want on my. I guess Tatum at the 2.
Insane. A 6'10" shooting guard. That's wild.
He wants to be Kobe so bad. This is a chance.
6'10" shooting guard is nasty.
Because
word.
I have. Do I?
Might as well put him as
Jabari's.
point guards, make him like Ben Simmons part 2.
I get. He can play make. We saw it in the finals, I guess. Yeah, I'll do that. And then I guess Jabari Smith at my 3, Anthony Davis at my 4, Cooper Flag at the 5, Pods coming off the bench.
Why would you put Cooper Flag as your center?
I mean, they can like swap, but Anthony Davis loves playing power forward. So
Power forward and game in that lineup.
it seems like Tyler's perimeter is clamps. My interior, like my big men, I mean, AD and Cooper Flag, we're up there.
Yeah.
And then Ben's is just like overall strong. That's what I've kind of
Thanks.
like drawn from this.
All I say is this hurts LeBron's legacy, guys.
It does a little bit.
This hurts it.
But for
Undrafted.
$5, like for $5, wait, was he the
Yeah.
he was the only $5 guy not picked up?
Yeah.
He's the only $5 not
$5. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I know he'll definitely be better. Like,
Live fraud.
no, bro, you got a gritty Justin Jefferson behind you. Okay, real quick, Tyler, between me and Ben, who do you think had the better draft?
I like your team. I think yours. I like yours a lot. The Jason Tatum pick is, I think, what really solidified yours. Having him at the 2 is wild. I feel like that hurts your shooting overall. I feel like I'd want Tatum more inside, attacking the paint.
For sure,
But,
but I
like,
mean,
Whatever, I guess.
didn't have many options. Ben, who do you think had the better roster between Tyler and myself?
I think Tyler takes it.
Yeah, I agree. So I guess amongst us, Tyler's got this one in the bag.
Yeah.
Because regardless, your spacing is crazy with Kevin Durant at the 4, the ultimate stretch 4,
Yeah.
and Jalen Duren for $2. That's probably the steal of the draft. I'm not gonna lie. He's a monster.
That's true.
But it'll be tough against Cooper and AD. So
That is the big thing, but I think I wouldn't really have to be so concerned because they just get outpaced, and we just kill them at the perimeter overall. There's too many guys, too many shooting threats on this team.
on your team, yeah. And oh man, I didn't even consider Trey Murphy. Oh my gosh, you get double teamed by Ant and Derek White, and then get switched to Trey Murphy. You're cooked.
Agony.
Literally,
Truly.
it's actually your Timberwolves. But yeah, so I guess
Like
Tyler
your
Brownrigg.
Timberwolves lineup.
Yeah, Tyler Brownrigg is the winner of Le Café draft. Congratulations,
He's the most
Tyler.
qualified to be a GM.
Exactly. Yeah, a
I could
GM.
do it. I could do it.
a
How hard of a
GM,
job is it?
assuming people are worth like $1 to $5 in the NBA
I
instead of like
understand how-
37 million.
This
That 18
team,
bucks.
I'll tell you right now, this team isn't hitting the second apron. All right,
Mm-mm.
we're managing these. Contracts.
Nobody is. But I think did you see the post? You probably did, Tyler, because you spent a lot of time with Twitter. Like how much the whole Team USA lineup would be worth.
Yeah, USA costs over $2 billion.
Jeez.
Dang, that's a
This
good
team,
amount of like national
if
debt.
there was a team in the NBA, they would in fact be over the second apron.
Yeah,
Really hemorrhage their roster movement.
insanity.
It'd be worth it.
But yes, so that's been our draft. That's been the episode. Thank you guys all for tuning in. And stay tuned next week because we have an actual Olympic special where we're not just like making graphics look pretty. I mean, maybe, who knows? But until next week, go Knights and charge on.